Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Stores on the Pitch channel. So today we're actually going to be talking about Alexander Isak. This issue is not going away. This issue is here and is not going away, and is almost becoming more or less like a pity party. Why do I say a pity party? Depending on which camp you are, it will determine who you are going to be pitying in this situation. Would you have a pity for Alexander Isaac, or perhaps would you have a pity for, Eddie Howe? Eddie Howe, amazingly, is a good coach, trying to really, really revive Newcastle, trying to make them become very, very competitive. They did amazingly well last season, by the way, and Alexander Isaac was largely part of their achievements last season. So what has happened so fast to make a one-time Alexander the Great, because the Newcastle fan actually made a tifo for him, a tifo banner last season. He was scoring goals, he was getting to the back of the net, and everybody were actually happy with that. If you remember, Newcastle did a very, very big damage to Arsenal, making Arsenal out, crashing Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Is it the FA Cup or the Carling Cup? I think it's the Carling Cup. And although they didn't go on to win that eventually, but then, they crashed out Arsenal. Arsenal had, perhaps the best defense last season. That is to show you the impact Alexander Isaac has on that team. And fast forward to this season as well, we can see, or we saw in the match that they had, which was between Liverpool and Newcastle, even with one man down, Gordon picking up the red card. Newcastle United still played amazingly very well. They almost pick up a point from that match. But of course, Liverpool had a greater advantage. They have a very, very beautiful attacking force, and they were just able to steal the match away. So that one ended by 3 goals to 2. So now talking about Alexander Isaac, after that match, we saw situation where the owners and even important hierarchy inside of Newcastle United went to Eddie Howe to try and console him, because they really played amazingly. We know that about it. But then afterwards, we heard that, they had to go to Alexander Isaac's house to try and talk to him, to try and reason with him on what they can actually do with his transfer, or perhaps with his current contract. Because it's not that this guy has a contract already. He has a contract with Newcastle that is still very much running. And, according to what he is saying, because there was a time he actually came up with something, a write up of his own, saying that Newcastle are not doing the right thing that they should. That he actually has a verbal agreement with them that he was going to be leaving the club this summer, particularly to Liverpool. So after the entourage went to his house, Fabrizio Romano reported that Alexander Isaac maintains a clear stance since July. He wants Liverpool move, no changes after recent talks. Liverpool Football Club ready to bid again if Newcastle open doors to exit. Story remains in Newcastle Football Club hands, but Isaac still hopes for Anfield move ASAP. So if Isaac is hoping for Liverpool move and you're not in good terms with Newcastle, how does he really intend to do that? The reason why we're having this conversation today is because when I started this video, I asked that which pity party are you? Are you in for Alexander Isaac, or perhaps are you in for Newcastle? Because as far as I'm concerned, I think when you're under contract, you need to honor your contract. And even if you have to leave your club, you need to leave your club in such a way that you'll still keep your heads up high. A lot of people have been trying to compare this to the deal of Victor Gyökeres at Arsenal, who currently is an Arsenal player. By the time he was leaving Sporting, Victor Gyökeres was by the time he was leaving, it was his club now. I think it's Sporting, yes. By the time he was leaving Sporting, one of the things that happened is that first there was an intention to sell, from the side of Sporting. They wanted to sell him the previous season. They have already agreed, in fact, written. It was written, it wasn't verbal. So they have already agreed the amount they were going to sell him. He had a release clause already. Arsenal met all of these criteria. But then one of the things that really, really caused the issue then was first things first, the payment structure. And second of all, and the most important of all, was that I think the owner of Sporting then wanted to, change the price, wanted to inflate his price. And through bonuses and every other thing like that. And of course, Victoria Correa wasn't having that. So it's a different thing entirely from a player who Liverpool have significant, who Newcastle have, reiterated and signified that they are not willing to sell at all. They don't even want him to leave the club. They want him to be a part of them. I mean, for every business, if you look at it at the end of the day, you'll be thinking that why not just cash in on this guy? Why not just make, money from this guy? Why not just cash in on him right now? But it's like Newcastle are not in for that. They want Alexander Isak to play maybe and just another season. And they can look up to, whatever it is that, the next season holds. And it might even be leaving January. He might even be leaving January. So for me, I think Alexander Isaac is not handling this very well. Newcastle at the end of the day are already playing without him. They can decide to freeze him out of the club and even take him to court because he is still very much a Newcastle player. So I do not understand why he's not going to be playing for them. I mean, look at what happened with Eze. Everybody knows Arsenal want Eze. Everybody knows Eze deal was going to happen at some point in time. It was imminent. But for the fact that he handled himself well, in fact, this season he played in the Carabao Cup and he played in the first match of the season for them, played amazingly very well as well. The only second match he hasn't played for them was when the deal actually happened. And that was the deal. I mean, that was the match, they were the qualifying of the champions, the qualifying of the what is it now? This cup Chelsea collected conference league or something like that. The qualifying for that, and he didn't play in that because, of course, the Arsenal deal was already done. So, guys, what exactly do you make of these things? Do you think that Alexander Isaac, for example, is guilty, or do you think that the Newcastle are trying to just, delay him, trying to not make him go? And what is your best resolution to this thing? Do you think that it should actually be let go so that at least all parties can be happy? Because in this case now, no, Newcastle cannot be happy. There is no way you can tell me Newcastle are going to be happy. They are not going to be happy. He's not the player they want to sell right now. But the only happy person in this thing is going to be Alexander Isaac, who we feel like he has his wish granted already. And even apart from that, let's look at it. If he eventually goes to Liverpool, how would the formation be? Is it going to be benching a KTK, or is the formation going to be changing to 4-4-2? I don't know how it's going to be happening. Because of course, with the way Liverpool is set, the way Liverpool is set up right now, they are quite comfortable with AKTK. So guys, what exactly do you think? I really, really want to hear from you guys. Remember to drop your comments in the comment section. It is very, very important because your opinion matter a lot. And also remember to subscribe to my channel. Like and share this video. It's very, very important. Drop your like. In fact, I want your like more than your subscription. Drop your like.